So I have just returned from Georgia, trekking in the mountains, the Caucasian mountains between Georgia and Russia, and just arrived back this morning. So if I sound a little incoherent at times, please forgive me. But it was a beautiful experience, as it always is in the mountains. And I feel refreshed and rejuvenated. My mind is clear. All of that, yes, but I'm also very happy to be here today, to be among all of you, and to share the little bit that we have learned and observed over the years. As was introduced, I'm Izzat, and I head the India High School of Outdoor Learning, and I've been part of this endeavor since the last 13 years, and I still look forward to every day. And I guess by the end of today's talk, you will know why that is. So, just before I left to Georgia, I got a call from a teacher, and she told me that something very interesting happened and something that she's really happy about. There was a child from the school who accompanied other children who went on a trek, a day hike around here in Bangalore. And this was a child who had special needs. Even when our trek leader came back, he narrated that there was a child who did not mingle with others, who was to himself, who did not want to, who got a little agitated when he was in the company of others, so stayed away most of the time. But he slowly changed. And by the time he reached that summit that day, he was sitting very close to the trek leader, slowly joined the group. He didn't want to be away. He showed interest in what was happening and wanted to engage. And when he came back, I got a call from the teacher a few days before I left, and she said that he's different even in school. He seems more engaged now. He seems to have opened up. He doesn't seem to want to be on his own. And also the other students in the class are a little more receptive towards him, and that really made my day. And it also is the reason why I continue doing what I do, because I've seen the effect and the impact that the outdoors has on somebody. It reminded me also of a child. His name is changed here. I'll call him Adi, so that it's easier to speak. So Adi also was a child who had a lot of issues in school. He was known as a troublemaker, and he all the time got into trouble. He came badly dressed many times because he was in scuffles and fights, and his grades were low. And most of the time, children stayed away from him because he would get into fights all the time. Fortunately, the school took the students on a trek, and something very amazing happened. Adi in the outdoors was very different from Adi indoors. It was almost like the walls around him were just suddenly broken. It was like his spirit was free. You could see a smile on his face. You could see him running around because he could run here. He was not in a classroom. And here we told all of them that, yes, you have to pick up the garbage you see on the trail because we need to leave the mountains better than we find them. And Adi got fully into it. He had his eco bag and he kept running around looking for garbage. And once his bag was full, which happened in about 10 minutes, he started picking garbage and filling other people's bags. So all the children's bags were filled by the end of the day, and he needed a sack. So then it almost seemed like he had something to do, and he did it so well. And not just this, he even saw that others were struggling. He was agile, he was strong, and he saw some other children struggling with their heavy bags. So he'd go and help them. He would hold their hand in tricky sections. At one point where there was a steep incline, I saw Adi carrying 3 bags and smiling and walking. And he was helping everyone around him. Just imagine what a difference. For him to see himself in this way, that he's doing something that others appreciate, and for others to also see him differently. This is the first time they saw who Adi truly was. that beautiful person inside that was hidden within the walls of the classroom, he could shine. And 2 years later, I spoke to one of the teachers from the school because I was a little curious about what happened to him. And they said his grades have improved, he's doing really well, he dresses better, he keeps the campus clean because that thing got into his head that I have something that I can do which makes a difference in the planet. And everyone sees him differently. He sees himself differently. So it's a very small bit of the 13 years of experience with thousands of students that we have taken. And there are so many stories like this to tell. Here we see that when there's a change in environment, sometimes different people shine in different environments, just like different plants need different environments to grow. And the outdoors is a perfect environment for almost anyone to shine. You cannot have pretenses when you're outdoors. After a few days or few hours of struggle, your true self comes through. And most of the time, that true inner self is beautiful. It has strengths, it has talents, it has skills, which you did not even know existed. Sometimes you don't know yourself until you put yourself out of your comfort zone, doing something different, in a different environment. And that's what I've been seeing over the years while working with students in the outdoors. And you must be wondering, how did this happen? Well, in 2011, when my kids were grown up, I went on my first Himalayan trek. And I went because I just thought I need to get away from the city. I'm just so bogged down with things around me. My mind was in a mess. Professionally, I seemed to be doing okay as a counselor and a trainer, but that didn't seem to be enough. And I wanted to know what the rest of my life is going to look like, because I could not see ahead. And a friend suggested this trek. I joined. I'm really happy they accepted that I go on one. And then I reached up onto this high point on the Kashmir Great Lakes trek. And I could see 2 lakes below me. We had walked up from these lakes. It was quite a struggle. It was beautiful, but it was difficult. But reaching up there and feeling the wind in my face and just that silence, and just being there like a speck in the universe, feeling I am nobody and my troubles are so insignificant. At the same time, I felt I am everything. I'm a part of this whole beautiful universe, and so there must be a role that I should play. That thought was so strong, and I've heard the same thought resonate in so many people. So many come back saying that they had tears at the summit, or they had tears while walking in the forest, or holding onto a tree, or looking at a beautiful flower. And I know that these are turning points in people's lives. And very often it happens when you're outdoors. It happens after a struggle. And that was a turning point, and I realized I need to do something in the outdoors. I need to take my clients to the outdoors. If I can't take them, I will send them. And so many of those who were in counseling with me for a year, 2 years, slow progress, sure progress, but not enough, I said, go on a trek. And one of them did. She went on a trek, and the next session was the last session with me. And she's a constant trekker now, and I feel so happy about it. So many times I've recommended it that just step out, just go out, find yourself, break those boundaries. When you reach a high point, it's like you can see the horizon around you. Sometimes when you're down, you can't see. When you're in the forest, you can't see. You need to reach somewhere where you can see the road ahead. And that is what happened on my first trek in Kashmir. After that, I came back. I volunteered to go with a student group this time. I said, let me see what happens with students. This was back in 2012. And then when I saw that when children are out of their comfort zone, when they work together in teams, when they are cooperating and not constantly, competing with each other, when they support each other, when they feel each other's pain, when all of them have their hands in freezing cold water, when they have to help in making their own food, the appreciation and all that, those changes that happen within them, in their heart, in their soul, changes those children forever. And I completely decided enough of my regular counseling work, enough of doing workshops and trainings, which I don't know how effective they are. I know they are effective, but here I saw something very different. So I just moved into this as an outdoor educator and as somebody who dreamt of starting adventure therapy, which started after 10 years of since down the line. So yes, that is what has brought me to working with students, young people, the youngest of young, and also up to the graduate level students from the IIMs that come with us. And what I have noticed is the younger they are, when they step out, this impact becomes part of their being. And I know that many of you here have gone on treks. I know that you have started quite young, and I'm sure somewhere inside there you have found a reason to keep going or something that has made a difference. If I ask any of you here, I'm sure you would tell me that. We could speak about it later. Yes. So that was the story so far, and I would like to perhaps end with something to the parents and the teachers, anyone out there. So recently, last year, we had a summer camp for teens, for those between the ages of 15 and 17. And there was this girl whose father really, really wanted her to reach the summit and take a picture on the summit. And we knew that because he spoke to us about it. He said it's very important that she feels achievement in her life, that she feels like she has triumphed. So for her, I think the summit picture is important. She needs to get there no matter how, so please encourage her. Unfortunately, she was too tired by the time we reached a point on the Chandrashila trek. She stopped at Tungnath and she just couldn't. But she didn't seem disappointed. She looked at peace. She looked content. And she said, it's fine, I'll wait here. And the rest of them can go and come. I think I'll enjoy the peace. And we were okay with it because she didn't seem troubled. But when that picture went, the summit picture went to the father and he saw his daughter's not in it, he just blew his head. He was so upset because he just sent her with one thing in mind, that success meant going to the summit, that is going to change everything for her. And he was really upset. So in Rishikesh, when he came to pick her up, we were all a little bit, oh my goodness, what's going to happen now? Is he going to blame her? Is she going to feel bad? But she didn't seem to be worried at all. She was laughing, joyful. From far, he could see her with the other students, happily walking in. Her body language was different. It was like an open posture of confidence. And she came and spoke about all the amazing things that happened on the trek. How they worked together, how they cooked, how they pitched tents, how they did this, and her fear of heights was vanished. Her fear of darkness vanished. Even talking to others, interacting with others, which she was a little hesitant earlier. Now she was completely comfortable and confident talking to everyone, all the others. She had made so many friends, like friends for life, she said. Seeing all this, something shifted in the father's head. He realized, just like we had already realized, that the summit is not everything. The way to the summit, the learnings on the way, the hardship that you face and overcome, the friendships that you make, the beauty around you that touches your soul, all of these are triumphs. All of these are successes in their own way, and each and every one of them count. For us, it was really beautiful to see the father and daughter hug, for him to realize that, yes, what he wanted for his daughter happened, and much more. She got a realization that was much bigger than what he had in mind. So with that, my stories are over for today, but I have countless other stories which I would love to share at some point. But for each and every one here, What I know is that there is something special in every individual. There is something that you have to find, and you discover it. You discover it in challenge. You discover when you step out of your comfort zone. You discover it when you do something new. You discover it a lot when you step out into nature and into the mountains. So do that. Find what it is that makes you unique, makes you, makes you that part of the universe which is connected to every other part and which is so important for the rest of the universe to also exist. Find that. Once you find it, your strength, your talent, use it for the rest of your life to develop it, use it for yourself, and use it in the service of others. I think that for me is Triumph Redefined.